Hi, Lou here again, and for the shirtless portion of the segment, I just thought I'd share some thoughts. So, people with anxiety or any kind of mental issues, you might relate to this, you might not. Everyone else, just kind of sit down and enjoy the shirtless show. It's currently 4:46 in the morning, so I'm sitting in the bathroom. Kind of one of those things where it's like I think I have to poop, but I don't. That kind of story we have. So I take a shower, as you do, at 4:45 in the morning. I'm sitting there, and you know, nothing's happening, but I'm sitting there and I'm typing up another poem that's come to me. And as I'm sitting there, I think I hear something, as you do, at 4:45 in the morning. It's nothing. I got a little tinnitus in my right ear. Tinnitus is hearing damage from, in my case, it was an explosion. I used to be kind of a pyro when I was younger. Anyway, uh, gotten worse, I guess, over the years, but you really notice it because there's always sound. But at night, when I'm quiet, it's not so much a ring as it sounds like a whistle or air blowing out of your ear, like a woo, like, kinda. I can't really. It's like I said, it more feels than it sounds like something. I guess it's the lack of sound. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and as I'm typing, I realize both my ears are kind of ringing a little bit, and the inside of my head is humming like the buzz of an old uh, fluorescent tube light. That buzz. But I'm feeling it. I'm not hearing it. Just like a. So I go, oh, that's me. I continue typing. Then I think I hear something again, so I get up and I go out into my house. I live with a lot of people, so but there's no one there. No ghost, no nobody. I sit back down still, and I have the thought comes to me. It's an outside thought from what I'm writing. The poem I'm writing on my phone is a separate thing. I think whenever I am still and quiet, the inside of my head rings like a bell. Those are the words that come to my brain. I go, that's good. I'm gonna put that on Instagram. And then I proceed to go take a shower, as you do. Now I am wearing shorts underneath this. Just don't be alarmed, but no shirt because fucking I don't care. Anyway, so I take my shower, and while I'm in the shower, and I'm trying to have a thought, just a thought, and I'm not sure if this was or is like a panic. Again, people with anxiety. If this is the beginnings of a panic attack or some sort of like disassociative or depersonalization things. These things can happen when you have lots of anxiety and you're in a state of panic for an extended period of time. You can like kind of lose yourself, which I haven't been. I have not been in a state of panic. However, every time I try to have an actual thought, I might have the beginnings of a thought, and then the lyrics to a song that I really don't even know that well. It's a disco song that that has played at every family party. I'm sure a lot of us know the song. And here's the line from the song. The line to the song is because I'm kind of losing it, so I wanted to record this now at 4. Now it's 4:50 in the morning, and I'll look up the name of the song and everything. And the line is I think the line of the song is, "My hands are shaking, baby. My heart it beats like a drum." Now, now it's not a song that I particularly listen to ever on my own. At a barbecue, at a wedding, it might get played. People like disco. Uh, so the first time it happens, I'm like, why is that in there? I definitely didn't hear that song today, or yesterday, or at all this weekend, or maybe I did and I just subconsciously just sort of like stored it away because I don't like that song. I don't really care for disco, but anyway. So I go to, okay, that's nothing. I'm in the shower. I go to have another thought, and it happens again. Like, wow, I don't like that. And every time I try to have a thought, I have maybe the first few syllables of a thought, and then that plays. I can hear that in her voice, And then I think, oh boy. All right, so either, uh, anxiety kind of manifests itself in many different ways. You know, it could be physiological, tingling, heart palpitation. I never really so much had the heart palpitations. I would get sweat, shake, imbalance, shortness of breath. But the psychological anxiety for me is a repetitious thoughts, loudness in my head is the only way I can describe it. Sounds, tones, voices. Not voices, but like, the reverberations of conversations I've had, etc. So as soon as this starts happening in the shower, not too long ago, 20 minutes ago maybe, I'm like, okay, all right, so something's happening. Either I am have been out of work for 2 months and mostly been keeping to myself at home and haven't had really any contact with other than the people that live in my house. And I live with my family, and that's just a really nice way of saying I live with my parents. But I actually do live. My family's here, my siblings, and you know, it's a pretty big house. But when you have like 11 people, it doesn't really make a difference. Anyway, that's a side note. So this is happening. I'm having the thoughts. The song, I'm trying to have a thought, and there's the lyric again. Just that line. I don't know the next line. I don't know the line before it. I know that's part of the chorus. So I'm like, all right, I'm in trouble, or I'm going to be in trouble. It's that for those who ever had like a substantial panic attack, especially like when you get like I don't know what the right word is. I know for seizures they have like I think it's aura or something. They can kind of sense it. But if you've had panic attacks quite often, um, you know what I think you kind of have the gist of what I'm talking about. So I'm like, all right, if this continues and keeps getting louder and more frequent, it's going to start affecting me physiologically, like physically, and then it's going to be a domino effect, and I'm either going to be able to breathe through it, or I'm going to have to make a decision. Now it is again, this is like 4:30 in the morning. Can't really wake anybody up because that would then cause them to freak out, which will cause me to freak out. That's bad. I don't want to go to the hospital. The hospital is the literal last place I think any of us want to be right now. I've never been to like a psych ward, and I'm not, knocking anyone who's had to go to a psych ward. In fact, for my, anxiety YouTube channel, if you ever want to talk to me about it, I'm interested in hearing from people who've done it. Reach out to me. I'd like to hear about like your experience. Anyway, so at this point, I'm in the shower, not really washing myself. I'm sort of listening to this 1.5-second disco lyric, and I'm deciding whether or not I am having a nervous breakdown or I'm just having a panic attack or what's going on. And I started laughing, not hysterically laughing. I started getting all giggly or whatever, what have you. And I started laughing and laughing and laughing, and then for the first time in it's been at this point it's been like 10 minutes of that repetitive weird whatever. I hear Alan Watts' voice, and I don't remember the line exactly. In the moment it came to me. I listened to a lot of Alan Watts. If you don't know who Alan Watts is, he was a theologian in like the 50s, in the 60s, and then he became sort of like a Zen. He basically took like Zen theory and Buddhism, and then like took it in and regurgitated it for white people in America. Look him up if you don't know who Alan Watts is. So the line, it's a line from one of Alan Watts' many lectures, and it's about people trying. Again, in the moment, I remember the line exactly in my head. I heard it in his voice, and then I don't remember the exact line now. In the shower it happened. I started laughing. I heard what he said, and then I dried off. Put my shorts on, thankfully for everybody, and then walked upstairs, not naked, and here I am recording. And the line was along the lines of like, don't try. People try to like make themselves better or change or do a thing or basically manipulating reality. And the reality is we can't. It's something along the lines of like, if you could be this better version of yourself, you would be this. You would already be it.
You see, the reason you want to be better is the reason why you aren't. Shall I put it like that? We aren't better because we want to be. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because all the do-gooders in the world, whether they're doing good for others or doing it for themselves, are troublemakers. On the basis of kindly let me help you or you'll drown, said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree. See, because sometimes doing good to others and even doing good to oneself is amazingly destructive. Because it's full of conceit. How do you know what's good for other people? How do you know what's good for you? If you say you want to improve, then you ought to know what's good for you. But obviously you don't. Because if you did, you would be improved. So we don't know.
Now I know that kind of like spits in the face of a lot of these motivational people that we all kind of, I think some of us in one way or another like, but it's not what I don't think that's what he meant. I think what he meant was like, what is. You can't really like fight the whim of the universe. So just relax, take a breath, and relax and settle. And what will be, and where you're supposed to be, you find yourself there, kinda. Again, the line hit me in the moment, and I just started laughing. Like, even when I let go, dealing with anxiety over the years, dealing with just whatever existential nightmares that we all deal with, I will let go. But I think when I say us, I think everybody, I really do think it's everybody's first knee-jerk, fire from the hip thought or action or thought to action is to, okay, well, I'm not going to fuck with this. Whatever that is, I'm going to let it go. But then the next thought is, but then what am I going to do? Right? I'm not going to do this job anymore. I'm not going to be this person anymore. I'm not going to whatever the thing is anymore. But then the brain automatically wants to go, well, then what? And then, of course, in even the most positive of settings, I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to start meditating. I'm going to stop doing drugs. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop doing this or that, or just make this better version of myself. But that's the mistake. That's where we all fuck up, because that's still a manipulation. You're still trying to wrestle and grab onto the vibration of the unit. You're still trying to hold the thing that cannot be held. And then even though in that next moment you're not where you are when you make that decision to change, you will be again down the road. It's kind of been the story of my life. Maybe you've had the same experience where you're trying to fix it. I always like to say, I like to fix it until it's broken. And that's sort of what happens. But this was an experience. This was an experience because I'm sitting there on the toilet, as you do. And like I said, this is one of those things of like, do I have to? I don't think I went earlier, but it's been like 17 hours since the sun was out. So let me go try again. Hypochondriacs, we tend to, I know there's poop in there, so I want to just handle it. Which, again, trying to handle the things that come naturally, it doesn't work. So I'm just sitting there playing on my phone, writing this poem, and I hear the ringing, and I feel the vibration, and I start to get like that anxiety, that thin glaze of like sweat. Now I'm not sweating, and I'm not even wet, but like that kind of like, you feel it in your hair, it's like, oof, something. And then in the shower, I'm hearing disco songs. I'm like, oh boy, alright. So, been here before, see what happens, and then it didn't happen. I didn't have a panic attack. I didn't have a nervous breakdown. Or maybe I am having a nervous breakdown. Maybe this camera's not on. This is my, you know what I mean? Like, I think about that. Like, am I talking? Am I 4 inches from the wall, speaking to the paint? We'll find out when I hit stop, and tomorrow when I wake up and see if this recording exists. But yeah. That's my advice. My advice is, you don't have to follow what I'm saying. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. However, we talk, or I talk, or you hear people talk. I think we get like 2 dichotomies out there. It's like, there are people who are like, you need to, for 10 years, grind, and then you're going to get your result. Or people say just totally let go. I don't think any one of us can, like, most people, that's why there's only like a handful of billionaires in the world. I really believe that. 99.9% of us can't keep up with that grinding so hard that like it consumes your whole life and you're not sleeping and you're building your business or your dream or your passion or whatever. And equally, we all can't just like let it go and like just like let's go with the whim of the world and be like that surfer guy in the movies. We're all sort of like somewhere in between, but mostly closer to the middle. Far from super hard grinding. Wow, that sounds terrible. I don't want to say super hard grinding. I don't know. Whatever Tom Billy will says on his Instagram page about here's my list for the day and whatever. I like the guy, but like some things I'm like, I don't know, Tom. I don't know if you're successful, but take it with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt. He would think I'm a lazy piece of shit, or maybe he won't. I don't know. Anyway, or the total, complete like Zen Buddhist or like hippie, new wave, whatever, just totally like going with the flow. It's really hard to be on either end of those spectrum. That's why so few people are. And I think maybe they are because we could argue all day they were destined to, or they were supposed to, or it's part of the plan, or whatever. You believe in God, it's God's plan. You don't believe in God, it's the universe's plan, or there's no plan. It's just a mathematical probability that they're going to be what they are when they are. I don't know. But I had the notion right there as I heard Watts' words. It's like, that's what I do. That's what I do. I flee from the moment. That's really what it is. Whatever the problem is, or whatever it is, it is the moment. And I'm immediately like, what's the next thing? And that is usually when I make that shift. It feels like growth. It feels like change. It feels like the right thing to do. And in the moment, sometimes it might be, to run away. That old saying of like, run away and live to fight another day kind of thing. But it always leads down the same path. I always find myself back in where I started. And it's frustrating because sometimes it could take a day to go from point A to point B. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it takes a week, years. Sometimes it takes a really long time. And you could be on this path of like you think is the change or the way or the whatever, and then find out like no. It's like, like Wizard of Oz, like you were there all along, that kind of thing. You were always home the whole time. It's like, fuck. It's like I didn't make any progress. I didn't like gain any ground. Maybe I learned and experienced all that stuff, but like, damn. So I guess the main point of this complete, probably psychotic mental break ramble is that when you feel the pressure of body or mind in the moment, that initial reaction is to stop that one way or another. Have a panic attack. That'll stop it because now you're in the panic attack. Have a nervous breakdown. Some people go further and do horrible, harmful things to themselves. Or they just like overnight become a different person. We all do one of the things. I say, I know it's, well, Lou, you're not a doctor, you're not an expert, but I say, don't do that. Let the moment ride itself out. It'll burn itself out. And then just know that, for lack of a cliche term, it's going to be fine. It's going to be alright. You'll be alright. The moment will always be there. You'll always find yourself in it. And the next things will, will sort of like manifest. I don't know if I like the manifest. Materialize. I like that better. Terence Mckenna says it. He talks about how in one of his famous talks, we plants are happy plants covered it in one of their songs. And it's along the lines of like some...
It's very hard for people sometimes to figure out whether I'm an optimist or not. Let's get something straight here. I am the most optimistic person you have ever met. I'm absolutely convinced that there is nothing wrong and that nothing can go wrong, and that nothing will go wrong, and that if something needs to be done, you will find yourself doing it.
That's the line. If something needs to be done, you'll find yourself doing it. And I was like, wow, I like that. And I think that's true. For whatever reason, at 5 in the morning, that I'm coming up with I can't talk. Philosophical answers and such. But yeah, I think if something needs to be done, if you in the terms of if you need to do a thing to survive the moment, to get to the next day, if you're pushed into for one reason or another, or one way or another, into like something has to happen. Basically, I don't know how to. It's not about negative or positive or good or bad. Something has to happen. It will. It will happen. I know it sounds woo-woo and weird, but like it will. I mean, think about all the times in your life when you didn't think you were going to get through it, and you did. Think about all the times in your life when you didn't know what was going to happen, and sort of, it kind of just works out. All the stress and anxiety about it, there's that cliche thing too, where all the worry in the world won't change the future, and all the regret and depression won't change the past. And that really makes sense. And I know that even me, I'll go like, yeah, that makes sense, and then 3 seconds later, be worrying about the future. We're animals. We're talking space monkeys. Can't expect a lot from us. But I will say that if something needs to be done, you'll find yourself doing it. I think that's where I'll end it. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I am putting this out there. No shirt, 5 in the morning, shower talks. I don't give a fuck. There are no rules. Choose your own adventure. I live by that. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Send me a comment. And like I said, anybody out there who has been hospitalized for mental illness, if it's something you don't want to talk about, then you won't have, don't. But I'm looking. I want to interview someone. I want to know what it's like to get to that point, and what it's like to now be where you are, where you're obviously not, if you're watching this and you're not in the hospital, and what it's like, and yeah, I want to hear from you specifically. But thanks for watching. Have a good day, a good night. Does time even matter anymore? Has it ever? I don't know. But peace.